Hello, I'm Yutaka Watanabe, a tax accountant. Welcome to the channel Tax Accountant Nabe Solves Your Money Problems. Today, I'd like to talk about an important court decisions on tax investigations. First of all, let me ask you something. What do you think would happen if you completely ignored all contact from the tax office? When you receive calls from unknown numbers or complicated-looking letters from government office, it is easy to think, I'll deal with it later. I completely understand that feeling. We are all busy, every single day. However, when it comes to the tax office, that habit of postponing things could eventually lead to very serious situations. I'm not trying to scare you. This is a real issue based on an actual court case, and it is something all taxpayers should understand. Section 1. The dilemma of a tax investigation. The aftermath following the investigation. When people hear the phrase tax investigation, they often imagine tense scene where tax officials thoroughly inspect accounting books and receipts from past years. But in reality, the important part is not only what happens during the investigation itself. Communication continues even after the investigation has officially ended. From the taxpayer's perspective, it is natural to feel relieved and think, the investigation is finally over. Of course, most people simply want to return to their normal lives as quickly as possible. However, the tax office also has a legal obligation to properly explain the result of the investigation. This creates a communication gap between the taxpayers, who wants everything to end quickly, and tax office that must formally communicate the results. If that gap is left unresolved, an unfavorable legal situation can quietly build up without the taxpayer even realizing it. This is a hidden pitfall that many people overlook. Section 2. The 2019 court case. How much effort must the tax office make? This brings us to the Yokohama District Court case that serves as today's main topic. In the March 2019 ruling, the court explained the question, how much effort must the tax office make in order to communicate the result of a tax investigation? Let's look at the action taken by the tax official in this case. Point 1. Multiplied phone calls. First, the tax officials repeatedly attempted to contact the taxpayer by telephone in order to explain the investigation result. However, the taxpayer did not answer the calls. Even so, the official did not give up. Point 2. 3 written notices sent by mail. After realizing they could not reach the taxpayer by phone, the official switched to written communication, and it was not just once. They mailed written notice a total of 3 separate times. This point is extremely important. If there were only missed calls, a taxpayer might argue, I simply did not notice them. However, Once written notice are physically mailed 3 times, the situation changes completely. At that stage, it becomes undeniable objective evidence that the tax office seriously attempted to provide an explanation. As a result, the judge determined that the tax office had sufficiently fulfilled its duty to provide an opportunity for explanation. In other words, the combination of repeated phone calls and 3 mail notices was legally recognized as sufficient effort by the tax office. The tax office effectively received judicial confirmation that it had done everything reasonably required. Section 3. The cost of ignoring contact, the legal reality of silence. So, what happens when the court determines that the tax office has fully carried out its obligations, yet the taxpayer continues ignoring contact? This is where the technical term, waiver of benefits, comes into play. In the context of this Yokohama District Court case, waiver of benefits refers to the legal evaluation applied when a taxpayer ignores communication even after the tax office properly provides opportunities for explanation. If the other party sincerely contacts you multiple times and you continue ignoring them, the law may interpret that as the taxpayer voluntarily giving up the opportunity to exercise their own rights. That is the truly frightening part. In ordinary daily life, ignoring contact may seem like nothing more than simply leaving someone on read. However, in the context of tax investigation, ignoring contact can directly lead to a legal determination that you abandoned your own rights and interests. A passive decision to do nothing can legally be treated as an active decision to surrender your rights. This court decision clearly demonstrates that harsh legal reality. What makes the situation even more serious is that penalties may sometimes be applied retroactively, saying "I didn't know" or "I overlooked the notice" may not be accepted as an excuse. This is precisely why it is so important to immediately check and respond whenever contact from the tax office arrives. Through today's explanation, I hope you understand how serious the legal consequences of ignoring the tax office can become. Although legal terminology may appear complicated, the core message is actually very simple. So, let me ask you one final question. The next time the tax office contacts you, will you answer the phone? Simply answering the call or quickly replying to a letter can help protect your own rights and interests. Please remember the weight of term, waiver of benefits. Whether you know this concept or not can dramatically affect the final outcome. Today, I spoke about an important court decision on tax investigation. For more information regarding tax investigation, please also visit the website of Yutaka Watanabe Tax Investigation Accountant Office. I will continue sharing content related to money and taxation. So please subscribe the channel. Tax Accountant Nabe solves your money problems.